Hey, ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is a word. Yes, Psalms chapter 16, verses 1 through 11. Let's see what this lesson is about from God. It's all about joy. So let's see. Because I'm feeling joy. You guys feeling joy? I feel joy all the time. I'm always full of joy. It's happiness it comes from outside, right? Joy is from God. And it's a choice, right? Are you going to allow people to take your joy? Or are you going to keep your joy? No, what you do is you keep your joy. You never let anybody take your joy from you. You may have days where you're not happy. Of course, you're not happy all the time. You're not every day, all day. And if you are, your phone is, I don't know what. So you're not happy all the time, but right, you should always have joy because joy is the fruit of the spirit. And if you are in God, then you are supposed to be full of the fruits of the spirit, right? And joy is definitely one of them. So joy is something that should never ever be taken away from you, right? You have to allow people to take it. You have to give it away, but I don't suggest it because that's a balance. That's what you need, right? Otherwise, you will always be unhappy, miserable, and trying to take people down with you, right? And nobody is responsible for giving you joy. You have to seek God, and that's where the joy comes in at. Because, like I said, joy is a fruit of the spirit, and the spirit is God, and all the fruits come from where? God, right? So, preserve me, O God, for in thee do I put my trust. O my soul, thou hast said unto the Lord, Thou art my Lord, my goodness extendeth not to thee, but to the saints that are in the earth, and to the excellent in whom is all my delight. Their sorrow shall be multiplied that hasten after another God. Their drink offering of blood will I not offer, nor take up their names into my lips. The Lord is the portion of mine inheritance and my cup. Thou manifest my lot. The lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places. Yea, I have a godly heritage. I will bless the Lord who hath given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night seasons. I have set the Lord always before me because he is at my right hand. I shall not be moved, right? As long as God is in your life and you make God your right hand man, right? And you understand what I'm saying, right? God is your right hand man, and right, you'll never be God's right hand man, but as long as you make God your right hand man, you won't be moved. Nobody can touch you. Nobody can penetrate what the circle that God has placed around you. Nobody can penetrate God's protection placed around you if he said if well, excuse me. No one can penetrate the circle of protection that God has placed around you unless he himself removes that circle of protection or allows a breach to take place. That's what I'm trying to say. Right? So as long as God is set before you, you always put God first, then you will never have to worry about not being blessed. You will always receive a blessing in some form or fashion from somewhere. It's not always monetary, it's what you need at that time. People fail to understand that a lot of times a blessing is not monetary, it's what you need at that time. If you need to breathe better, then you did something and God said they're worthy of a blessing. Yeah, take that sinus problem away, right? Because that person has earned the right to breathe better. Because that's breathing better is more important than them having $1,000,000 in their pocket, right? They can have $1,000,000 in their pocket and just stop breathing, right? They're miserable because they can't breathe, right? They appreciate $1,000,000, but they still can't breathe, so this person is still miserable. So God is like, nah, the person needs to have their sinuses cleared. So now their sinuses is cleared. Now this person is happy. They had the joy, right? Now they're happy, right? So now they can do other things and live their life right. And they didn't need that $1,000,000. That $1,000,000 wasn't gonna make them happy. Yeah, it made life easier, but it didn't make them happy, right? They needed their sinuses cleared, right? That's what would make them happy. So God blesses you with what you need at that time, right? Not what you feel you should be blessed with. So I have set the Lord always before me because he is at my right hand. I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad and my glory rejoiceth. My flesh also shall rest in hope. But remember what he said in 8. I always set the Lord before me. Always, not sometimes, not when I feel like it. Lord, go back down doing me. No, God has to be before you at all times in order for you to receive the godly blessings, right? For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption. Thou wilt show me the path of life, in the presence is fullness of joy. At the right hand there are pleasures forevermore. So if you keep God at your right hand, like it said to do in verse 8 and verse 11, there will always be pleasures forevermore. Right. You will not always be delighted and delightful. Right. You're still human. But there will always be pleasures that come to you. Like I said, God will bless you with what you need at that particular time. It's not what you want just because you want it. It's what you need at that particular time. Right. Trust me. If you're hungry and somebody come and do your hair for free, yeah, you love getting your hair done for free because you wanted that hairdo, but your stomach's still hungry, and it's even hungrier because guess what? You were sitting there for a few hours getting your hair done, right? So, yeah, you appreciate getting your hair done, but what you needed was your belly full, right? Right. So, that wasn't a blessing for you. Technically, that was a nice deed done, but the blessing would have been that person bringing you something to eat. So, do you understand the difference in being blessed with what you need at that time versus a nice deed being done for you? Right. See, that hairdo wasn't a blessing because you was starving. Right. You was hungry. Right. Well, excuse me, you was hungry. Now you're starving. Right. By the time this person finished your hair, you're starving. Right. So no, that wasn't a blessing. It was a nice deed, but the blessing would have been something to eat because your body needed nourishment more than it needed your hair done. Right. Your hair wasn't screaming and hollering and hurting, but your belly was growling and letting you know, I'm empty. I need to be fed. We need some nourishment. Right. Right. So your inside factor, right, would have needed that blessing more than your outside, which was your appearance. Right. Vanity. Right. You took vanity. Right. It was vanity over what you actually needed. So vanity over blessing. Right. Learn the difference. Vanity over blessing. Right. Right. You should have said, well, you know, girl, I know you want to do my hair for free, but you mind bringing me something to eat instead? Right. And if they say no, well, then you already know. Right. Right. They don't have their best interests at heart. Right. 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 They want to give you what they want to give you. Right. A lot of times, pay attention. People want to bless you with what they want to bless you with. And it's not a blessing. Like I said, you asked for something to eat instead because that's what you truly, truly needed. And they was like, no, I'm going to do your hair for free. Right. And then ultimately they got you suffering even more. Why? Because they doing your hair for a few hours and you taking yourself past hunger to starvation. Right. Right. Great hunger, because you ain't really starving. Starvation is a serious thing, but you taking yourself to a greater hunger than you would have been at had you, if they had the person brought you something to eat, and then they could have double blessed you. Right. You could have got a double blessing. You could have got something to eat and then got your hair done. Now that's a double blessing because your main physiological need was met, which is your food, your hunger, your belly fed, you full. Or at least you're satisfied. If you're not full, they brought you enough to satisfy your hunger. Now they done did your hair. So now that ends up being a double blessing, right? Being fed because you needed that more than anything. And now the extra bonus is getting your hair done. So now you got a double blessing. But had they did your hair and not fed you, right, it wouldn't have been a blessing. It would have been a nuisance and you would have been angry, right? You'd have been cute after you ate, right? You wouldn't have gave a doggone about your hair. You would have said, oh, it's cute, girl. But nah, you would have been all jumping around like, get it, girl, get it, girl. You hungry. So you still focused on your belly more than that hairdo. So that hairdo is a good deed. It's not a blessing at that time. And ultimately, it do feel like a curse because you're sitting there starving like a mug, right? And you still got to wait to get something to eat, right? So, that was our lesson for today. Find joy in the Lord. Never let nobody take away your joy. Happiness is what you get from outside. Joy is what you get from inside, which comes from God because it is the fruit of the Spirit. You guys have an awesome, awesome afternoon.